History does not remember Queen Shamsi because she built monuments. It remembers her because she disrupted an empire. Her name survives in Assyrian royal inscriptions, not as legend, not as praise, but as a ruler powerful enough to resist the most feared empire of the ancient world. This story is not written by her people. It is written by her enemy, and that makes it one of the rarest kinds of truth history offers. Queen Shamsi ruled along the northern Arabian frontier during the 8th century BCE. This was not a world of fixed capitals or marble palaces. Power moved across deserts, along caravan routes, between oases and seasonal settlements. Arab polities controlled trade. Assyria depended on, but could not easily dominate. Aromatics, spices, camels, and wealth flowed through these regions. Authority was practical, not ceremonial. Whoever controlled movement and water controlled survival. When Assyrian records call Shamsi Queen of the Arabs, they acknowledge real authority over people and trade beyond imperial borders. Assyrian records do not describe how Queen Shamsi was educated, but leadership structures of Arabian societies are well understood. Rulers emerge from elite lineages shaped by negotiation, endurance, and memory. Leadership was inherited but constantly tested. Royal daughters were not isolated from politics. They observed power closely. They learned how alliances formed and collapsed, how tribute shaped survival, how silence preserved authority. Power favored patience over spectacle. Shamsi's later actions reflect this formation. She resisted strategically, not impulsively. Female rulers were rare in the ancient Near East. Foreign female rulers named in Assyrian inscriptions were even rarer. Shamsi's appearance confirms her authority was visible beyond her own society. She was not symbolic. She governed openly enough to affect imperial interests. Her rule existed at the edge of empire, and empires do not tolerate edges for long. In 745 BCE, Tiglath-Pileser III seized the Assyrian throne. He transformed Assyria into a centralized military empire. His reforms included a professional standing army, systematic conquest, direct imperial control. Tribute became policy. Resistance became rebellion, and rebellion was recorded as warning. This was the empire Queen Shamsi confronted. Assyrian inscriptions state that Queen Shamsi did not submit willingly. Her independence interfered with imperial control of trade and movement. That alone made her a threat. Tiglath-Pileser III responded with military force, pushing into regions Assyria struggled to dominate. For Assyria, this was enforcement. For Shamsi, it was survival. Assyrian records do describe one moment in detail. They claim that Tiglath-Pileser III confronted Queen Shamsi near Mount Sakuri, in what is today southern Syria. The inscriptions record a decisive Assyrian victory. They list thousands of people taken, vast numbers of camels and livestock seized, and large quantities of aromatics and goods removed from Shamsi's control. These records emphasize loss, flight, and submission. They describe Shamsi withdrawing into the desert to preserve her life. They record the destruction of camps and the seizure of religious objects. And they state that Assyria placed an official over her territory, enforcing imperial oversight. This is how Assyria chose to remember the conflict. Assyria excelled at siege warfare. The desert offered no walls to breach. Arab rulers relied on mobility, dispersal, and terrain. Assyrian records state that Shamsi withdrew into the desert. This was strategy. Desert warfare denied Assyria quick victory, but sustained pressure eventually forced submission. Queen Shamsi was defeated, but she was not destroyed. She paid tribute. Gold, aromatics, camels, spices. She was allowed to continue ruling. Assyria could conquer land, but it could not easily govern nomadic systems. Shamsi's authority remained useful. She became a vassal, not a casualty. When Queen Shamsi surrendered, she sent what remained under her control. Dromedary camels. These animals were not symbolic gifts. They were strategic assets. Dromedaries were uniquely adapted to the Arabian environment. They made long-distance desert travel possible. They enabled overland trade routes across regions Assyria could not easily cross. Assyrian palace reliefs show camels being presented to the king. Their inclusion was deliberate. Later Assyrian rulers would rely on Arab knowledge of camels to move armies across hostile terrain. Shamsi understood this. By sending camels, she offered Assyria something it lacked, and something valuable enough to end further violence. Surrender did not guarantee survival. Assyrian kings often executed defeated rulers. But Tiglath-Pileser III faced a situation without precedent. Shamsi was a woman. Assyrian sources rarely depict violence against women. Female bodies were largely absent from scenes of punishment and execution. Killing a defeated female ruler would have violated imperial norms. Instead, Tiglath-Pileser III chose a different solution. Shamsi was allowed to continue ruling. An Assyrian official was placed over her. A large garrison ensured compliance. Force without annihilation. Records show that years later, Shamsi was still alive and ruling. Survival was not mercy. It was policy. Assyrian scribes called Shamsi Suratu, not queen in the ceremonial sense, but the feminine form of king. This title was not used for Assyrian royal women. It was reserved for rulers who held power in their own right. By using it, the scribes acknowledged something unusual. Shamsi ruled as other kings ruled. She was not alone. Other Arab women held the same title across generations. The institution of woman kings lasted centuries. Most of their names are lost. Shamsi is remembered only because an empire recorded her. After submission, Shamsi disappears from Assyrian inscriptions. This silence is typical. Assyria recorded disruption, not stability. No record preserves her death or successor. Silence here signals continuity. Queen Shamsi left no monuments. She left evidence. She stands as one of the earliest documented Arab queens, a rare female ruler named by empire, a leader who resisted and survived. Her name remains because Assyria could not ignore her. Queen Shamsi ruled where survival was power, and she endured an empire. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more historically grounded documentaries. Don't forget to like and comment. Thank you for watching.